guys, we got a juiced-ass earnings week. We got a bunch on the lineup this week. This could be, I'm looking at mostly on the downside for a lot of these things. We got Coca-Cola this week, Activision, UPS, Johnson & Johnson, Microsoft, Alphabet, Facebook, Google, Apple, Amazon. There's so many. Twitter, there's just so many out there. And I'm looking at, one thing I want to peep into really quickly for people to understand is Enphase. The energy sector has been going crazy this year. And we just had a nice breakdown recently. So it just ran from 200 to 150 in just a week. This is the weekly chart I'm looking at right now. Looks like a nice bear flag setup coming down to break below this 150. Breaking below this 150, we have a lot of room down to this 110 mark. So earnings could really move this. This has had been an explosive stock for the last, year or so, maybe 2 years. Enphase Energy looks good, but if they have a positive outlook, I would look for a reversal at the bottom of this Bollinger Band here. So for earnings plays, I probably might strangle this so I can have some on the put side and call side. The implied volatility percentage is kind of high, so just keep this one on watch. But below this 150, we could see a significant breakdown in this stock, maybe down to 140, 141 pretty easily. But earnings are Tuesday after the bell. I want to give a whole market outlook on the SPY and QQQ. We're looking really bad on the weekly chart here. We lost a bunch of gains, almost a month worth of gains in about 3 trading days. And I want to zoom in on this weekly chart right here because this breakdown, this looks like this could really break down and retest these previous lows. Great opportunity, dip buy opportunity coming very soon, especially with the rate hikes in May. Once they raise them 50 basis points, if they do that, we're going to see another significant decline, and these are going to be some dips that I would love to buy for the long term. But anyway, this support line that I'm looking at right now is this 420, and if it doesn't bounce off that, we can head all the way down to 410 and below that on the SPY. So I'm looking to a lot in the breakdown. Room down to 420, and then I would probably be a little bit hesitant to take some reversal calls in case it bounces, but if it doesn't, it's headed right down to 410. So watch that 420 mark on the SPY. Same thing with the QQQ. They could be below this 318 level. I don't really see a bounce coming in this future. If things are looking red on Monday, I think that we test this 318, if not break below it. So watch another $7 drop coming for the QQQ. One thing I also want to point out is Google. Google on the weekly chart has finally broken down this huge uptrend from its COVID gains, and the web traffic views are starting to see a slight decline. Still the number one search engine in the world, obviously, but something to really pay attention to. And I have a support line off this break on the weekly chart down to 22.50. So could lose about $140 a share here, and options for that would pay a great deal of money. They have earnings on Tuesday after the bell as well. So I have them on watch, and I really, really, really like Facebook. So if there's more of a breakdown, I'm going to zoom down here. I'm going to go to the weekly chart. It's lost all of its COVID gains. Pre-COVID, it was 223. Now it's 184. And it kind of reminds me a little bit of Netflix now that we have this inverse cup and handle coming down right here. It broke down below this support line. So there's a support line at 176. And below 176, if they have a horrible earnings, there's a big, big support line at 137. So this could be a huge pair. Implied volatility is very small, so even strangling on each side, if they beat it, a lot of people are going to come in to buy the dips. If they don't beat, then it's going to get pretty ugly, and I wouldn't even be surprised to see us at 140, 137. So this could die just like Netflix if they have no growth future. They spend a lot of time in the metaverse, and they're just losing tons and tons of money. But that is something that I'm watching as well. So we got Enphase, we got QQQ, SPY, Google breakdown, and Facebook breakdown is what I'm watching as well. Amazon could also have one of those breakdowns to 26.75. So I'm looking to a lot more on the downside this week, but one of the ones that I want people to pay attention to mostly is the SPY and QQQ levels, because if we break this 420, we're probably going to head down to 410. And with the Federal Reserve meeting coming up in May, things are going to start getting a lot more rocky, and there's going to be probably a lot more fear in the market. So these are great possible plays. You can make a lot more money on the downside. Love playing the put side because sharper drops, you make a lot more money on sharp, quick drops on options. So pay attention to some of these levels. SPY and QQQ, my biggest watchers this week, and I'm going to try and hit an earnings play like we did with Netflix last week. So let's get after it. Hope this helps out, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments.